Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, so have you ever just sat there staring at a spreadsheet, endlessly pointing, clicking, dragging, dropping, and then suddenly you realize, wait, I made a mathematical mistake like 50 clicks ago, and, well, you have absolutely no way to trace it back. Yeah, it's this daily, hair-pulling frustration for so many of us who deal with data analysis in rigid, traditional software. But what if there was a significantly better way? Today, we're diving into the really fascinating evolution of the R programming language. We're going to take this journey together from the very real limitations of those closed point-and-click tools all the way to the absolute superpower of reproducible data science.
All right, let's take a quick look at our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the point-and-click liability, trace the evolution from S to R, look at why being built by statisticians actually matters, dig into the reproducibility revolution, and wrap up with the modern ecosystem.
Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1, the point-and-click liability. We really need to explore why traditional software might actually be holding your research back.
So why exactly is pointing and clicking a liability? I want you to think critically about what's actually happening under the hood when you just push buttons in a program like, say, Excel or SPSS. You know the drill. You highlight a column, you click a drop-down menu, you apply a formula. But what is the software actually doing behind the scenes? Well, the reality is there are a lot of hidden, completely opaque processes executing that you have absolutely zero control over.
And this perfectly illustrates the core problem. On one hand, we've got these opaque, manual, click-based tools. They're full of hidden bugs and offer absolutely no audit trail. When you're just clicking around, finding a mistake in your workflow is almost impossible because, well, you literally can't see the exact steps you took. If somebody asks you to reproduce it, good luck. You essentially have to start all over again from scratch. Now contrast that with R's transparent, code-driven workflow. Here, every single step is fully auditable. Every action you take, right from the raw data to your final chart, it's all written down in explicit code. In serious research, relying on unrepeatable manual clicks is genuinely dangerous. A code-driven workflow actually gives you a complete auditable history of your thoughts.
Now, to truly appreciate this elegant, code-driven solution, we have to look at where it originally came from. That brings us to Section 2, the evolution from S to R. Let's walk through this timeline really quick, because the history here is actually fascinating. It all kicks off back in 1976 at Bell Labs. And for those who might not know, Bell Labs is basically the legendary home of modern computing. It's the same place that gave us Unix and the C programming language. So while there, they developed a statistical language called S. The philosophy behind it was great, but S was proprietary. That meant you had to pay a pretty hefty license fee just to use it. Fast forward to the early 1990s at the University of Auckland. We've got two professors, Ross Ihaka and Robert Gentleman. And hey, notice their first names both start with the letter R. They really wanted a free alternative to teach their undergrads, so they borrowed heavily from S and conceptualized a brand new open-source language, R. The very first release dropped in 1993, and by the year 2000, we finally got the official version 1.0.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, built by statisticians. And this introduces a really unique philosophy of data. There's this profound metaphor that drives the entire language. Data is a first-class citizen. You see, R wasn't developed by software engineers who were just trying to build general-purpose applications. No, it was built by actual statisticians out of sheer frustration with rigid tools. They wanted a language designed specifically to think with data, rather than treating data analysis as just some afterthought or secondary operation. The whole point of R is designed to reduce the friction between your brilliant statistical idea and your final result.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is that R is tailored entirely to how an analyst naturally works. And I love this next example because it proves the point perfectly. Let's compare counting in R versus counting in Python. If you're a mathematician, a statistician, or honestly just a normal human being, you start counting at 1, right? 1, 2, 3. Well, perfectly aligning with basic human logic, R starts counting its data at 1. But Python was built by software engineers, so it starts counting at 0. The first element is 0, the second is 1, which can be incredibly confusing if you aren't a computer scientist. It's a great little piece of nerd humor for sure, but it perfectly highlights how R was purposely designed from scratch for data people, not software engineers.
All right, let's move on to Section 4, the reproducibility revolution, and see how this analyst-first philosophy builds into the absolute superpower of modern scientific research.
First, let's clearly define a very important concept. Reproducibility is the ability for someone else to take your raw data, run your code, and generate the exact same results. Just think about that for a second. True science, rigorous analytics, trustworthy business intelligence, they all require reproducibility. But as we discussed earlier, this concept is completely fragile in closed point-and-click environments. If I just hand you my Excel file, you literally don't know the exact sequence of manual clicks I used to get my final chart. It's a black box.
But with R, we have this beautifully simple, foolproof workflow that bridges the gap between raw information and verifiable truth. Just walk through these steps with me. Step 1, you take the raw data. Step 2, you run transparent line-by-line code. Step 3, you generate fully auditable results. Literally anyone in the world can take your R script, run it step by step on their own machine, and see exactly what you did to arrive at your conclusions. It enforces ultimate transparency and just completely eliminates the mystery of that software black box.
Today, this intense focus on openness and transparency has transformed R into something much larger than its original creators could have ever imagined. Welcome to Section 5, Beyond Statistics, Modern Ecosystem.
Look, R is no longer just some niche academic statistical tool. It's a massive, collaborative, open-source movement. We've got econometrics and finance. We have spatial analysis that integrates seamlessly with mapping tools like QGIS. You can analyze raw text as data. You can build fully interactive web applications using a package called Shiny. And you can create absolutely stunning, industry-leading visualizations with Gplot. And it's all incredibly extensible through thousands of community-built packages hosted on a central repository called CRAN. But, we have to remember a great piece of advice from the source material here. Always choose the right tool for the job. Don't use a sledgehammer to kill a fly. If you just need a quick look at 5 rows of data, honestly, a spreadsheet is fine. But for rigorous, complex, repeatable work, R is an absolute powerhouse. And this actually brilliantly illustrates R's extreme versatility. I really want to share this fantastic meta reveal from the original source material. The presentation slides the instructor used? Yeah, they weren't made in Microsoft PowerPoint. They were generated entirely using R at a publishing system called Quarto. It's the ultimate show-don't-tell fact. R isn't just for crunching numbers. It's a complete reporting system that can weave your data, your analysis code, and your final, beautiful presentation slides all into one completely reproducible document.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with one final, provocative question. Are you just pushing buttons, or are you truly thinking with your data? It's a direct challenge to your current workflow habits. In a world where transparency, accuracy, and rigorous auditing matter more than ever, transitioning to a code-based workflow isn't just about learning a new tool. It's about fundamentally changing how you interact with information. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I really hope this leaves you eager to ditch the clicking and start exploring the incredible world of R.